Morning, y'all. I had somebody, a friend that like lives off away, message me and was like wanting a tour, kind of like the front yard, I guess. So anyway, house right there, the garden right there, and the hoop house. You think you can probably tell that much in the video, but then there's a gate that leads back here to this one section that runs next to the woods. We've got like 20 acres of woods over there. Oh, look at them clouds. It's overcast, chance of rain, very humid. Very humid. But the chickens are right here. We've got them in the Premier One poultry netting. I think it's like the 160 foot or 164 foot one or whatever. We've got fence wires sitting there and those rubber mats. This used to be a 12 by 24. It is 12 by 24 loafing shed. And all we did was just like, we split it in half, made it into 2 stalls at one point. Kept show horse up here one year before we had stalls built in the big barn, and then we ended up building the smaller barn and yada, yada, yada. But anyway, so we just basically took pieces. My sister grabbed pieces off the old coop, and we closed in the front. I can do a better video on that later. But anyway, the Premier One netting has worked great, y'all. Oh my gosh. I was so worried our dogs were going to be going crazy trying to get the chickens up here. Because I think every one of the farm dogs we have now has been here since we had chickens before. They haven't been here that long since we had chickens before. So, but the funny thing was they came at the chickens and they hit this fence, and I guess their mind was so in tune on the chicken that when they hit this electric fence, they won't even look at the chickens now. I mean, I've had one, I think it's one of the roosters, that keeps getting out and roaming around the yard. And the dogs will see that bird roaming around the yard, and they will, see how the dog's laying over there? They will get up out of the yard and go around back to get away from the chicken. So I'm so happy about that. Can't have dogs out here killing these chickens. I mean, they're feeding us, I want to get more chickens. These red sex links, it's very hard for me to tell for sure who's roosters and who's hens. I mean, there's like 2 of them that I'm pretty sure they're roosters, because their comb is so big, kind of like this one's. His comb's so big, so much taller. I don't know. I mean, there's like 15 of them out here now. And like yesterday, I collected 10 eggs. So hen don't lay 2 eggs in one day. All right. And typically they won't lay every day. But 10 eggs in one day tells me out of 15 birds, we have at least 10 hens. But there's still too many roosters in here. And this is why their little tail ends, they're missing feathers, and they're little, because the roosters, when they breed them, they're like pulling feathers to hang on. Anyway, so that's where the chickens are at for now. But we've got the wire, and we're going to build a stationary pen to put up. And then I'll use this wire, and I may order a smaller Premier One netting and use this to move goats around from one area to another, because we're going to get goats. We got to get goats. We had goats before, and they were so good about keeping the vines off the trees. And I mean, all these years we haven't had any, and the vines just go crazy. Southeast Oklahoma, that's where we're at. And I tell you what, we have so much stuff that just comes up out of the ground growing, that tries to just vine and grow over everything. I was trying to see if I could spot something, but I was just out here weed eating earlier. This stuff, I don't know what it is, but it grows like crazy everywhere. And it kind of vines a little bit too. But it's not a bad vine like the vines that are all over the trees. It's starting to sprinkle. Anyway, back to the yard. We put the pool right there because it's centrally located between all of our homes. And we didn't have any luck with the pool this year. I don't really want to talk about it. But anyway, here's our yard. We used to have a pecan tree there. Stomp. But I've just been trying to get stuff cleaned up, and it's just been so hot. So as things cool off, I'll clean up more. But that's it. I mean, I want to put in more garden space, and I'm trying to figure out where. I don't want it too far from the house, and I'm thinking we're fixing to have to move some fence, and I think I might be able to put some over here where we've had the chickens, right in here. I have to leave space to be able to get the tractor in and out of this gate so that whenever we need to mow back there, we can get, that's the only way access we have for that whole, that goes down the line of the woods. It kind of goes at an angle. Anyway, headed down towards the barns. But yeah, we're going to have to change the angle of this fence where this brown pre-fruit panel is at. The fence got kind of knocked down and the horse is trying to lean over it. So I stuck this panel up here. I didn't want to bother repairing this fence again when we're fixing to take this section of fence out. This all growed up right here. It goes all the way down there. We've got pecan trees that have grown in that fence line that I'd like to save, because this used to be a pecan orchard out here. This is all pecan trees. And they're old, and we lose about a tree every year. Matter of fact, there's a big mess over there from one we still got to finish cleaning up. We got another piece that fell off of one over here that we got to finish cleaning up. It's all the time. So they're old, and they're, you know, they fall apart, fall down. I mean, anyway, so, you know, the idea of cutting down ones just because they're on the fence line, I don't really like that. Because a couple of them trees are probably already 5 years old. It's been that long since this fence line's been cleared. So why cut down a 5-year-old pecan tree? I'm not going to do that. We're going to change this fence line. It doesn't run straight against the highway anyway, which is like there. And so I'm thinking we can come off the edge of this carport here and angle more, and then take the turn to go towards the front. And that's going to open up probably another 15 feet of space right in here that I can actually, all right here, all the way up close to the coop basically, is where I could have some more garden space, all right here. And bonus, because I've had the chickens on it, there's not a whole lot of chickens in there for the space really, but I want to be able to get them to where I can move the pen around and you know, have the stationary pen, and then be able to have this poultry netting to be able to move it around the outside of their stationary pen in order to keep the stuff eat down. That's my plan. That's what I'm hoping will work. Anyway, that's why I've got them up here. They're more protection for them. Can't hear anything if something's getting at them down there back where we used to have the coop. Mink could get in the coop at night. I mean, it was just, you know, I'm just not even going to do that. So I wanted them up here where I could hear them and keep a better eye on them and stuff. Plus, if I'm out here, you know, when the weather cools off, anytime, whatnot, I'm just going to let them out. If I'm out here outside messing around all day, they can be out here all day messing around and eating bugs for me. So, I like the chickens, and I want more, and I want to get turkeys. And y'all tell me, what do you think? Look, check out the bourbon reds and the bronze-breasted turkeys. Because size-wise, the bronze-breasted, they look like they'd be huge. But the bourbon reds are so pretty. I just can't decide. Y'all help me decide. But this is the yard. It's a good-sized yard. It takes, I would not want to have to push mow it. I've had to push mow it, and I don't want to go back to doing that. So, anyway, youngest son's place with his family is there. Oldest daughter with her family there. That's it. We're just all, the 2 cars parked there because I was mowing back there, and so he moved them up here. I busted so many windows this year, y'all, it ain't even funny. But that's the front yard. Oh, let me show you these volunteer marigolds real quick. These things, I never bothered to grow any flowers in front of my porch because I was afraid we'd step all over them, and, you know, these things volunteered. They're doing great. We've all just been walking around them. So, anyway, that's my porch. This is where I'll sit and chit-chat sometimes when the weather's nice. It's really nice when there's not much traffic on the highway because we are on a state highway. But that's it, y'all.